knows what's going on, and I'm so proud of her for saying it. It's wonderful.
I am free.
That is right.
For you, that's an individual person. What about a systemic issue? Where?
Okay, so she brings up the whole issue of systemic racism again, because that's the narrative that they want to push, that if you are black, that there's no opportunity for you to move forward because the system is systemic in nature, and that there's no clear examples of blacks anywhere across America or around the world itself who are prosperous in westernized world. Of course, none of that makes sense. I'm a living product of it. I have an excellent job that pays extremely well, and I'm flourishing in Canada. I'm flourishing in a westernized nation, and so many other African Americans or blacks in America. They're succeeding because they put in the time and the effort and the work to be successful in their own right. And I agree with her 100%. So of course she's bringing up systemic racism. Let's hear more.
I am black. I've always wanted to be. I have I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed.
I love what she just said. Stop forcing on people the idea that they're being oppressed. And that's exactly what Black Lives Matter promotes. And the reality is that the organization is not representative, in my opinion, of the black community in terms of us moving forward. I believe it's an organization that's a front for those that run this world system, the New World Order, the United Nations, you name it. And they're using this narrative that blacks are being oppressed, and that the only way to deal with this oppression is to steal, loot, and commit violence and sound off and just act irrationally. And Nestride, I think she's hitting the nail on the head, and she's addressing the issue for what it truly is. I think it's fantastic.
I am black. Stop making people accept that they're oppressed. You're forcing a rhetoric into your mind, which is not true. That's my point. Okay. Violence is wrong, period. It's not about blacks. Of course. You agree that whites kill whites too, right? Of course. Have you seen any white person coming out and saying white life matter or white thing? No, violence is wrong. They literally do all the time. Every time there's a Black Lives Matter protest, a white person.
Okay, Nasty just called her out on the fact that when a white individual gets killed by a law enforcement officer, you don't have these protest rallies going on saying white lives matter. And statistically speaking, in America, there's far more whites that are killed than blacks by law enforcement officers. That is a fact. It's not fiction. So if we're talking about statistics or numbers or percentages, what Nestride is saying is fair. If we're going to go by the percentages, then there should be whites out protesting that white lives matter as well, because the percentage of whites that are killed by blacks is much higher. So why isn't that being the case? So she responds by saying, well, whites come out to support Black Lives Matter, but she didn't address the issue of, well, why aren't there whites coming out to have White Lives Matter protest? Anyways, I thought that was interesting. She never addressed it.
It's not a problem. It's a violence problem. The blacks kill blacks in black neighborhoods every single day.
That is true.
I've never seen a Black Lives Matter in those neighborhoods.
Excellent. Why is that? Why isn't Black Lives Matter showing up every single time in Chicago or any inner city in the United States of America or anywhere else in the world for that matter, when black on black crime is committed and a loss of life occurs? Why isn't the organization immediately running to the scene of the crime and declaring Black Lives Matter to black individuals? Because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Never! You know what they say? When a black person kills a black in a black neighborhood, they come out and they say, when the police comes, do you know what they tell the police? Stitches get stitches. I know that. Stitches get stitches. But if a white person kills a black person, Black Lives Matter. Stop the hypocrisy. Nobody takes this seriously. Nobody. If it matters, it should matter in black neighborhoods. You start cleaning at home. So why don't you go? Why don't you start? Why don't you start? I'm not carrying anything saying Black Lives Matter.
Now, hold on a second. I just have to point this out. This is the individual right here. Right here. She was the one earlier telling Nestride to shut up and to leave and to go away. Now look at her with her COVID-19 mask on. She's there recording Nestride. She's actually mute this time, which is great. She's not actually saying anything. I'm hoping she actually learned something from it, because Nestride is the only person there of African American heritage that is actually standing up. And she's straight from Africa. She immigrated to America apparently a number of years ago. So she wasn't even born in America. But here she is, representative, in my opinion, of what the black community should be addressing as it relates to Black Lives Matter. And here are those individuals standing to the side, not joining her as they should, because what she's saying is absolutely correct. There's the numbers of deaths within the black community by black individuals is enormous. And blacks know this. Black people know this. I would imagine white people know it as well. But it's not being addressed. And that's what needs to be focused on. If black lives truly matter, then blacks should be equally outraged, if not even more outraged, when a life is taken by one black person by another black person. But we don't hear about it.
I know I'm mother.
Why don't you start?
You guys are wasting everybody's time. Okay?
Since you're so
black more than any race. Where's the Black Lives Matter?
People kill in their community.
Where's the Black Lives Matter?
That is true.
I am free. Don't try to make me believe I'm not free. I am free.
We are free. Shame on you.
Okay, so now the crowd starts to attempt to shame her for speaking the truth. And this is the reality. We're living in a day and age where speaking the truth is the new hate speech. Right? They don't want to hear the truth. They just want to believe the lie. I have to say, with Nestride, I applaud her. She's absolutely courageous, because she's literally out here on her own challenging a large group of people who, for the most part, are unaware that they're being manipulated and controlled by the system. Simply because the name of the organization is Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that it's an organization that represents the overall best well-being of the black community, which I believe it doesn't. So I applaud her for standing up on her own and confronting this crowd and this group of people who are clearly being influenced and manipulated in the wrong direction by confronting them with the truth and exposing the hypocrisy of the organization. Excellent.
Bring it! Bring it, guys! Bring it! Bring it! Bring it! Where are you?
Why are you here? Why are you here?
Where are you in South DC?
Why are you here?
I am free in my country.
Why are you here?
I'm in my country.
Why are you here? Okay, so
I love how she says that. She says, I'm free in my country. She adopted America as her new home, and she respects it as such, and she loves it. She says, I'm in my country. That's beautiful. There's a lot of African Americans or Black Americans that probably wouldn't say what she's saying, but I think she recognizes from where she's coming from West Africa, that the opportunities that she's experienced are extraordinary, and that she's put in the work to achieve the level of success that she has, which I believe she notes later in the video.
if you don't believe in this cause, you're free to leave. You're free, so you're free to
I am
leave.
free to stay too. I am free to stay.
That's right. She's free to stay, right? The leftist liberal lady's telling her, well, you're free to go. And she's like, well, you know what? In a free society, I'm also free to stay. This girl is unstoppable.
That's my house. My house. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. You know how many kids got killed in North DC this morning?
Let's hear the statistics. Since you're such a stats expert, and you can read stats off for me, tell me, what are the statistics? What are the statistics on black people in jail? What are the statistics? Go.
And what are the statistics of black people dying in Chicago every day? Where are you? Bunch of...
Bingo. The girl tries to throw stats at her, which she probably doesn't know the figures for. And Nestride turns it right back on her and said, well, what are the number of deaths in Chicago? Tell me that. If you can tell me that, maybe I can answer your question. Silences are right there.
Bunch of hypocrites. Bunch of hypocrites. Don't waste anybody's time.
They are hypocrites.
You know what?
Absolute hypocrites.
No, I will tell you guys. The world will take you guys seriously when you start your Black Lives Movement. When a black person kills a black person, you come out and say, Black
Now, she's lying. She's lying right here. She's absolutely lying because she mentions that there's organizations that are addressing those issues within the black community, but she cannot name one single organization that has done so. She cannot. And that's not the issue that Nestride is bringing to her. She actually said to her, give me an example. Let me know of a time when Black Lives Matter actually presented themselves in a situation where there was a black on black crime and a black life was lost. And she could not provide that. All she could say is that there's other organizations, which she did not name, that actually address those matters, which is not true. And of course, Black Lives Matter as an organization is far greater and is known basically worldwide. So if they make their presence known in those situations in inner cities where there's black on black crime or violence or homicide or murder, it's going to get far more attention than it would if it was a much smaller organization. But again, that does not fit the narrative.
You guys have been cowards. You guys are not oppressed. You're lazy. That's all it is. Go get jobs. Work.
I would agree. Go get jobs. Go work. Don't be lazy. You know, a lot of them probably don't have jobs to begin with. They're just, there to create havoc and, be a part of something just to feel that they're justified in being a part of something. She's absolutely right. Most of these people, not all, are lazy, are unemployed, don't have a job, don't have nothing to do other than simply pretend to be a part of a cause that really does not support the black community. It only causes us to see ourselves as being victims.
I'm oppressed. The white people are oppressing me. Why are they to oppress you?
Do you feel like the mainstream media or the establishment media is portraying things accurately or the protests accurately?
No. What I think is that the mainstream media is helping propel this voice, which is very, very skewed from reality. Okay, because the